Konnichiwa minasan, Anton in Japan here, and welcome back to Tokyo Renovation Diaries. In this video I will talk a little bit about plumbing in Japan. How I found my plumber and why we split ways after I paid him half the money for his job. Not really because he did a bad job, because I had some special needs, and also because my neighbors got a bit angry at him. I'll also talk about Japanese regulations, what you're allowed to do DIY when you're renovating an old Japanese house in Japan, and what you're not allowed to do. This is Tokyo Renovation Diaries. 4 months into renovation, let's talk about plumbing. So, 4 months into renovation, and we put insulation in the floor, finally. My carpenters did an amazing job with the earthquake safety. And before I could close off the entire floor, put plywood there, store material, and utilize the floor space on the first floor, I needed to get the plumbing done. The water boiler was on the back side of the house, and I needed to put pipes under the entire house to the kitchen. The house is old. I had no idea when the plumbing was done last time. My friend Yu-chan, who runs several different izakayas and restaurants in Japan, introduced me to a great guy, I thought. This older guy came with a younger guy as well, his kohai, to help me with my plumbing. I explained to him what needed to be done, and we agreed on a price. 350,000 yen for the entire plumbing work, for his jobs and for the material, new pipes, etc. The water boilers and the jaguchi, suisen, was gonna be on me as well. I put in brand new concrete, paid a lot of money for it, and he made a mess out of it. I have no doubt that he couldn't do a good job. He was there working shirtless in the Tokyo summer heat, like a really hard worker, and he does a great job. My friend who runs these izakayas says he has great skills. He knows what he's doing. But then, community is key in Japan, and he started making a mess. And my neighbor started complaining. He was hammer drilling outside my house, dunk, 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 and made a huge hole in the street outside my house without having a license. My neighbors complained, and he didn't really listen and respect me, I felt. For the outdoor area, I wanted to put a piece of wood, a long, beautiful piece of beimatsu, American pine, as a part of the shower. I wanted to build in the pipes within the wall and then put the shower on top of it. I recycled the wood and made it beautiful as well. It turned out really nice, but he didn't want to do this. Let me get to that, how I solved that in a second. There are a few things you are allowed to do, plumbing-wise, in a Japanese house. In Japan, you need a lot of licenses for many things. It's a country of a lot of middlemen and a lot of shikaku. You need certain permits in order to do many things. I think to a bigger extent than in Sweden, for example. You need a license to do plumbing, you need a license to do electrical work, you need a license for a lot of things. There are a lot of things you can do alone, and then there's a lot of things you cannot do alone. Of course, I follow all these regulations and rules, and this guy that I hired, he had the regulations for plumbing. What you cannot do is to connect your water to the Tokyo water supply. Once someone with qualifications and the diploma has done it, you can do it. That's how I understood it. I usually never touch water because Japan is a country of a lot of humidity, termites, and with water leaks, I don't want to have any responsibility. I'm putting a lot of money into renovating this house, and with water leaks, the house will go bad, rot, termite damage in a short amount of time. If you have water leaks. Water is scary. So he took a hammer drill and drilled a big hole in the asphalt outside. And then he just left it there. Yeah, we will be back in a week or two. My neighbor started complaining. Why is there a hole in the asphalt in the road? And I became really worried. Like, okay, 4 months into renovation, this will probably take me another 6 months. If I won't keep my neighbors happy, I will never finish this house. And he made big ugly holes in my brand new concrete as well. And he was like, yeah, that will go well. Like, no worries about that, no worries about that. But I did worry about that. I paid a lot of money to get that done. When he came back later on, I explained to him that I wanted to reuse the leftover beam that the carpenters had put in the ceiling. There was about 1.5 meter beimatsu, and I wanted to cover the drains inside of this. I wanted to build a sauna here, but then in the end, I built a Japanese outdoor space. I also tricked IKEA into shooting a TV commercial there. I said I had a balcony, and I made it look like a balcony, but that's for a completely different video. So I wanted this beam here on the wall, because I knew it was gonna look really good. But when he came back a week later, he said, nope, that's impossible to make. But it's not. I'm not a plumber, but I know it's not impossible. With him making the ugly holes, my neighbor's complaining, and he said he couldn't do the woodwork. We agreed on, okay, this is where we split ways. I did this without having a replacement plumber. But we agreed on this. He was very easy to deal with. Okay, I cannot do this, you're not happy with this, let's just split ways, I'm very busy. There's a big shortage of plumbers in Tokyo. It's hard to find good plumbers. My lumbers couldn't help me with that. There's a shortage of carpenters as well. My lumber, of course, they work with carpenters. They could introduce me to good carpenters, but a good lumber, very hard to find. So how I understood it is that if someone connects the water to the Tokyo water system, anyone can do it without a license. I was really lucky. My friend Kevin could redo and help me where the old carpenter that I split ways with, he could help me finish what he started. I paid him about 180,000 yen in the end, and then I paid Kevin the rest. No, I didn't pay Kevin. This house was abandoned for 10 years. They had cut off the gas pipes a few years earlier because no one was living in there. So Tokyo Gas came, they opened up the gas pipes again, led new gas pipes to the water boiler, and at the same time, they fixed the mess that this old guy made. And that's how I solved the plumbing. So there are things you can do DIY plumbing, but I wouldn't recommend you doing this. If you up, there might be huge damage, and don't underestimate water damage. It leads to mold, termites, and the wood will eventually rot. So without knowledge in plumbing, please don't do it. And please don't touch the main pipes either, because that's illegal. So we type into Google here, Suidokoji DIY, and here, Roy Mall DIY clip. Let's read here. Suidokan wa DIY dekiru. If you don't speak Japanese, I would recommend you to translate it into English. Can you DIY water pipes? This is probably a good source. I've read it before. Can water pipes be DIY in the first place? Who owns the water pipes? The water pipe installed in the house is connected to the public water supply, the one that my plumber connected it to, right? So where does public equipment end? And where does it become privately owned equipment? As you know, the main water pipe called the water pipe runs under the road, and the water is sent to each household faucet by branch pipes from the main pipe. This main pipe to the faucet is called water supply equipment, and the equipment such as water pipes, excluding meters and meter receivers, in between is the property of each household. Sorry about the English, this is directly translated. What you can do with water pipe DIY plumbing. According to the Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare, in the explanation of the provision in the article, replacement of a single faucet, etc. is a minor change. Replacing a faucet is not a difficult task, even for a beginner DIYer. But as I explained, I don't touch the plumbing on my own. You can replace it with a faucet with a design you like. Replace a two-handle mixing faucet that produces a hot and cold with an easy-to-use single level. Or replace it with a branch faucet for supplying water to a standalone dishwasher. So this is very basic, I think. In such case, ask a professional. You see, they're teaching you how to do it here, but at the same time, they're telling you you cannot touch these things. This is how it looks on the street outside my house as well. Summary. We have introduced the treatment and construction of the water supply equipment for tap water. I hope you have understood that some water leaks can and cannot be dealt with by yourself, depending on whether the leak is around the faucet or the water pipe. The same applies to work that involves changing piping or replacing parts. Even if you have a lot of DIY experience, ask a designated contractor. Better keep yourself on the right side of the law and leave something dangerous, like plumbing, to the pros. They have the license, they know what they're doing, and they'll be reliable for eventual water damage that can cost a lot of money in the end. Tokyo Renovation Diaries, please let me know what you want to see in the comments. We have a house tour coming up, we have the backyard coming up, and then we have the beautiful staircase. Puss puss, Anton in Japan here. See you very soon.